What if your skincare didn't come in a jar, but instead came in a gummy? And what if that gummy was tailored to your skin, to your environment, in fact, even to your biology? Ingestible beauty is booming, with promises of clearer skin and stronger hair and better aging from within. But behind the marketing is a real question. Can personalized nutrition actually change how we look and feel? And how do we know what works? From antioxidants to collagen alternatives, probiotics to UV protective actives, the line between wellness and beauty is blurring. And at the forefront of this shift is a radical idea that we can combine clinical data, AI, and 3D printing to design nutrition that's not just effective, but sustainable and enjoyable. So in today's episode, we explore what happens when personalized health meets beauty and why the future of skincare might just be something you eat. Welcome to Green Beauty Conversations, in which I challenge the beauty industry to become sustainable, champion independent and green beauty, and encourage you to join me in making beauty better. I'm your host, Lorraine Dallmeier. I'm a chartered environmentalist, biologist, and the CEO of award-winning online organic cosmetic formulation school, Formula Botanica. We have tens of thousands of students in over 190 countries around the world who study with us to become organic beauty formulators and entrepreneurs. Visit our website at formulabotanica.com to try our free online formulation course. And if you want to be the first person to know what's happening in green beauty, make sure you subscribe to this podcast in your favorite podcast app. So in today's episode, I'm joined by Melissa Snover, an award-winning entrepreneur, registered nutritionist, and pioneer in food tech and 3D printed nutrition. With over 20 years of experience and several successful business exits, she is known for her innovative, science-led approach to personalized health. In 2019, she founded Remedy Health, raising the highest ever seed round by a female founder in the UK. And she launched Nourished, which is the world's first 3D printed personalized gummy stacks. Nourished combines patented additive manufacturing with clinically backed ingredients to create tailored stacks for beauty, immunity, energy, sleep, and more. The company holds 27 patents, has sold over 53 million units globally, and was awarded the King's Award for Innovation in 2023. Hi, Melissa. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. And I'm really interested in what you do. So I'm so looking forward to this particular podcast episode. So let's start off with introductions. Can you please tell us a bit about you and about Nourished?
Sure. So my name is Melissa Snover. I'm the CEO and founder at Remedy Health. At Remedy, we develop technology in additive manufacturing or 3D printing that allows us to create customized or personalized solutions in curative and preventative health. Nourished is our flagship product, the first item that we brought to market and our biggest by a country mile. And it's the world's first authentically personalized gummy vitamin made up of 7 unique elements at specific dosages that are unique to each user. We make all of these products using 3D printers that we build here in Birmingham, and we ship them direct to people's doors. We make over 6 billion different products, and each one is really, truly unique. And we also use AI and have been using AI way before ChatGPT to help people to find out which combinations of which ingredients at which dosages are best suited to them, with a really cool intelligent logic algorithm and some really cool databases of over 100,000 clinical trials that allow us to sift through a lot of data and give people exactly what they need.
Oh my goodness. You've given me a lot to dig in here. I guess the first place I want to start is, how did you get started with all of this?
So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 23. I started my first company when I was in university, and it was a real accidental entrepreneurship story. I didn't intend for that to happen. I was planning to be a lawyer, but when I started the first business, I got the bug and really never looked back. I developed the world's first vegan allergen-free gummy candy because I have been a vegetarian since the mid-90s, way before there was a whole aisle for vegan and plant-based food. And of all the foods that I gave up when going vegetarian, the only thing I actually missed was gummy candy. And I couldn't find any. I know, right? I mean, actually, that's pretty good that you're only missing one thing, but it really bothered me. And I did really have a craving for it. So I couldn't find anything on the market that was gelatin free or tastes like wax. And so I decided to try to do it myself. I started learning about hydrocolloids. So those are gelling agents. I started attending classes I wasn't registered to attend in university on hydrocolloids, and basically developed a set of recipes utilizing plant-based gels that created a really bouncy gummy. But at that time, I had no factory of my own. Obviously, I was a student. And so I actually went knocking on the doors of major manufacturers around the world and was able to get a very, very, very famous confectioner to make my products for me. And I got the opportunity to go in and over the next 5 to 10 years, work alongside some of the world's largest makers of confectionery to learn the art and the science of making gummy. And I grew that brand, which was called Goody Good Stuff, to about 40,000 stores and ended up selling it to Cloetta PLC, which is a big company in the Nordics, but they make Chewits, which is a popular confectionery here in the UK. And when I finished that transition, I had this huge, huge hangover from my experience working in these really big, really, really proficient factories that was really around this idea that they were not agile. They were not able to bend. They were not able to make specific products for specific people, even limited editions for things like seasonality or special areas in the world where certain flavor profiles were popular. It's simply just not possible with the way that the vast majority of food is made. And so I started looking at ways to do more personalized, more agile manufacturing. At that point, I had never seen even a 3D printer before. So I bought 3D printers off the internet, took them apart, put them back together, taught myself G code, and within about 6 months had built and patented the world's first FDA approved compliant food printer called the Magic Candy Factory. And then that led me to what I'm doing now. So we made candy for a little while and it was wonderful and it was delightful. And we deployed them all over the world, 150 places. But I realized that actually the tech was so much more powerful than the area where we pointed it. And actually, if we pointed it at health, we could make a really meaningful difference in people's lives. And so that's where the vision for Nourished was born.
What an incredible story you have. And congratulations on all your success to date. I know we're going to dig more into that, but I just love this vision of you surrounded by all these 3D printers that you've ordered off the internet, trying to figure out how they're put together, trying to learn how to code with them, and then thinking, could I put food through this? That's just amazing. You were clearly born to be an entrepreneur. So talk me through, or let's, for our listeners, talk through how Nourished works. So someone goes to the website, what happens at that point?
So when you go to the website, you have two major options. So if you are very, very knowledgeable, if you're a nutritionalist or you've been given advice by a professional, or you just happen to be an extremely knowledgeable consumer about nutrition, you can go to the lab and you can choose from all of the different ingredients we offer and all the different dosages, and you can build your own stack there and then. The vast majority of consumers, however, would like a little bit of guidance because they're unsure because of all the conflictory information that's present in the world today. And so they go through our consultation questionnaire, which takes people between 2 to 3 minutes and gathers information about your existing health, your lifestyle, and your goals, and then benchmarks your answers against those 100,000 clinical trials that have been manually and now AI agent tagged to be able to create a correlative score across a variety of different health areas. And then those areas are then put through the intelligent logic algorithm. The intelligent logic is based around need, want, goal. And so if you have some major topics where you have a need, where there's a deficiency, those are seen to first. If you are the most healthy person on the planet and you have no lifestyle habits or existing health conditions that would mean that you have potentially deficits that could be negatively impacting your health, then we focus on things like optimization and goals.
And at that point, someone fills in the questionnaire. Yes. You've designed a gummy for them. Mm-hmm. What happens in the factory then?
So those orders, so then the customer chooses their flavor. That's just preference based alone. There's 20 different flavors. You can change it every month if you want to. A lot of people do. And then those orders are sent electronically to one of our operatives in the factory that is manning one of the 150 different 3D printers that are making the Nourished custom products. Those printers then are loaded with the 7 unique elements that your product is going to have. And then the 3D printer prints the month supply of 7 layered stacks with those 7 unique elements specifically for you.
Wow. That is incredible and very, very clever. And I just want to say that I actually have some Nourished gummies here. And not only are they very tasty, but they're also beautiful to look at because of all the different sort of colored layers. So we understand how it works. Now let's dig into how it all works from a beauty perspective, because obviously this is the Green Beauty Conversations podcast. You talked earlier about the potential for 3D printed gummies for health. What drew you to beauty as well?
So I think the beauty industry is constantly growing and innovating. I think of all the industries, it innovates really well. And I think one of the best things that I've seen is really this move from a purely topical regime-based beauty industry to an industry that is based on cumulative or combination regimes, where we're going to put something good in and we're going to put something good on. And I think that those things in combination have been shown in clinical trials over and over again to produce better outcomes, significantly better outcomes than just one or the other, right? And I think that that's a wonderful thing, and that's what we see. And this is really the very old adage that what you put in is what you get out, right? So that's a wonderful thing. But the real reason we started to focus on beauty from within was in 2022, I think, at the end of 2022, we were contacted by the innovation team at Neutrogena. They had, and they do have, an amazing app called Skin 360, which allows for you to use your phone to scan your face. And again, using AI and a huge database of dermatologically graded photographs, it will give you a score of your skin health today. This is available for free on their website, Skin 360. And then it gives you ideas on what you can do to improve your skin and gives you a bit of a health check on how is my skin doing today. They wanted to use that technology and combine it with what we do to be able to create customized skin benefit gummies that were unique to each individual. So we worked on a collaborative project with them, which we launched at CES in 2023, which was a huge success. And what it showed me was the real meaningful benefit around personalization in the beauty category. And that's really what started it. And now we have been developing beauty from within products across the board, which we now have all over the UK in retail and also online, of course, as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you obviously produce gummies for skin, for hair, but talk me through how they work. Can you talk me through the science?
Sure. So each product has different ingredients. So that is really the first layer of the science. So the ingredients we use we only use ingredients that are clinically validated in ideally double-blind placebo clinical trials done in non-biased environments by non-biased parties and are peer-reviewed and published and peer-reviewed. These studies have to be done with humans. So there are a lot of beauty products that are relying on studies done on animals or done in vitro. And that is a great first step, but we don't actually base any of our products on ingredients that are not showing clinically validated outcomes with humans. So that's the first step. The second step is you need the right dosage of the ingredient. So this is the other big bugbear I have with my industry, which is a lot of people are trying to sell product. They use headline ingredients, but they don't include anywhere near enough of that ingredient for a benefit. And so we only include ingredients when we can include the beneficial dose. So that's number 2. The second thing is really specific to us, specific to Nourished and our technology. So on top of the 3D printers, we also have a really cool patent on the hypersuspension of hydrocolloid bonds in pectin. And that is a mouthful. Mm-hmm. But what it actually allows for us to do in real life is it allows us to rapidly and robustly encapsulate active ingredients into each layer so that they can be loaded extremely heavily so we can get high beneficial doses, but also so that they do not in any way interfere with any of the other ingredients. And this is really important and something that the industry doesn't like to talk about because it kind of shows one of their weak spots, which is if you include multiple ingredients into one big mix and introduce any water of any kind, so any gummy has water, you will basically have the potential of interference and degradation A really basic example of this is if you combined vitamin C, which is pure acid, ascorbic acid, with iron, you will cause oxidation. Metal and acid don't mix. This is a basic idea, but you will find it often. So each one of those gummies that you have, if you try, you can actually peel them apart. So literally the layers pull apart. So I'm pulling one of them apart now. And each of those layers is molecularly individual and unique. Mm-hmm. And that gives us the ability to ensure that we get the right dosage, no degradation of interference, and that we are able to include a whole variety of different ingredients that work synergistically together when digested. So that's another step. And then the other point around that gel, which is really cool, it is a cool gel. So most gummy is heated up over 300 degrees Celsius when it's made. That's pretty standard. Some of them are slightly higher, but that's really standard. And so our gel does not require to be heated over 80 degrees for more than a few minutes. And that means that we can keep alive live probiotics. It means that we can keep the high dosages without burning them off of water-soluble nutrients like B vitamins and vitamin C. And it means that we can also include really, really delicate ingredients which are not possible in traditional gummy. Now you can put them in, but they won't come out on the other end when at the end of the manufacturing. So all of those things together means that we get a very high impact product that also tastes and looks great, which makes it enjoyable to incorporate into your daily life. And that is really the key. Adherence is really the biggest challenge. If you buy something that's very good for you, but you do not actually take it more than a couple of days, unfortunately, that will not make a big impact.
Wow. An awful lot of thought has obviously gone into this. Why was it so important for you to meet these high standards?
Well, I think I have always lived by the adage that, you should treat your customer like your family with respect. And I think that I only make products that I buy, that I want to buy, and that I would be very proud to give to any of my family. I really disagree very much with the people who are profiteering on people's fear or concern about getting older or their self-esteem or disease, etc. And unfortunately, it's rife in the industry, but I don't agree with it at all. So even though our business is only 5 years old, we are FDA audited, which means the FDA has come here and done 3 days. And we are GFSI FSSE 22,000 certified, which is the same level of certification as all of the big players in the market. And we take that extremely seriously. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mentioned that the industry you're in is a bit of a bugbear. Is the standard that you've set for yourself, do you see that frequently in the ingestible beauty sector?
I wish that I did, but I don't, unfortunately. That is not to say that there are not some great products and some great brands, but in general, there are a lot of products that are being sold by marketeers, not formulators and not scientists, and that are really trying to make fast money and that are disappearing as soon as they get in trouble for false claims, because there are regulations around this, but it's very, very difficult for the government to catch everyone because of the speed of information, social media, Amazon. It's very, very tough. I wouldn't want that job. And so, yeah, but they're very quickly turning it in and out. And I think, not only does that damage the industry as a whole, it damages consumer sentiment around what could be a really positive tool for their health. That bothers me a lot. But there are definitely some wonderful brands. They're just not the mainstay, unfortunately.
I understand. I completely get it. Okay, so in relation to traditional pills and capsules, how do gummies perform? Is there any information on that?
Absolutely. On our website, you can find quite a few different trials where we compared specifically Nourished versus a pill in a variety of different cases and in a variety of different situations. Probably the most kind of relatable is we did a study in California with UC Berkeley where we took 150 people, each of those, 300 people, 150. One set of people had their blood tested and then they determined their vitamin D deficiency and they were given vitamin D pills based on their deficiency level. And then they took their blood again and again over the course of 9 months. And then they measured the impact of the pills and they did the same thing with Nourished. So we customized the dosage of their vitamin D based on their deficiency level. And then we measured their blood. So what did we find? Nourished is just slightly better absorbed than pills, about 10%. But the more important thing was our daily adherence rate was close to 90%. and pills was 42. And actually over time, you see that all of the participants see an impact of the treatment regime right away. And then the pill group just drops off. And the gummy group, who's enjoying their gummies, stay really consistent and maintain really healthy levels of vitamin D. So I think that's a really nice one because it shows the two impacts. Yes, scientifically, it is great for bioavailability, but at the same time, it's super enjoyable. So it actually makes it easy to turn into a routine.
It just goes to show that if it's fun, then it works and it's always more successful. I completely understand that. Having now had a tub of Nourished in my kitchen, you do sort of go, oh, I'm going to have my gummy now. You know, it's like having a sweet. And that is incredible. I mean, the statistics are completely different. So how long would it take someone realistically to take ingestible beauty supplements and then see results?
So that will very much depend on the ingredients in the product. As you guys will know, like water-soluble nutrients are absorbed and benefits are realized on the same day. So for example, B12 is an instant energy hit. That's why a lot of people take it sublingually, right? Because that is, and actually any extra B12 that you consume in a day will not stay and it's going away. It's being excreted. So vitamin C, vitamin B12, those are happening on the same day. Other ingredients, which are really popular in the beauty from within category, such as collagen, it will very much depend on the type of collagen that you use. We use a collagen called Oviderm, which comes from eggshell membranes. And they have 19 clinical trials that have shown visually apparent benefits in users from day 15 with increased benefits all the way up to the end of the study, which is 90 days. And so again, that depends on the ingredients you're taking and what you're taking it for. And then you have some of these really, I think, quite trending ingredients, which are often adaptogens. A lot of people call them botanicals, things like ashwagandha and curcumin. Those are helping on day one, but they help more in a compounding way over time, the more that you take the product. So resveratrol, resveratrol, ashwagandha, curcumin. We use hydrocurcumin because it's more bioavailable. And so those ingredients actually have a compounding effect that improves over time. So it very much depends on what it is that you're taking. And so because we offer so many different options, it's impossible to say each of those products. But yeah, you get what I mean.
What are some of the most popular nutrients or bioactives that you sell?
So I think the Oviderm collagen is very, very popular. I think because it's a vegetarian sustainable collagen, which is really hard to find because collagen is an animal protein. And so if you're a vegetarian, up until now, it was really impossible for you to get collagen. I think resveratrol has always been popular and is popular even more today because it was previously thought of as a beauty only. Now it's got a huge amount of evidence around its support for neuroprotective benefits, the way that it can protect our brain against degenerative illness. So there's like added benefits, which I always love because I'm like, you're doing it for one reason, but actually it's paying itself forward in different ways. I think that's lovely. And then we have, for skin, specifically for skin, something that is coming more and more is carotenoids. So astaxanthin, zeaxanthin, and lutein, which we often think of as, I think, for eye care or eye health, which they do have great benefits for eye health. They also have been shown to have some amazing benefits for skin. And so I think that's a really cool flex into the beauty industry, which really was primarily thought of as eye health.
Yeah. No, I get it. We also formulate with astaxanthin actually in some of our courses. Are there any nutrients that are a little bit overrated for the ingestible beauty industry? Not necessarily ones that you use, but any that you see that maybe don't really have much of a place in ingestible beauty?
Magnesium. But there's nothing wrong with magnesium. Magnesium is fine, but it is being touted to be this miracle cure-all. And I just find it hilarious because magnesium is not interesting. It's been in every multivitamin since the beginning of time. I find the fact that it's so trendy on TikTok hilarious, and that people are saying it will help you sleep, it will help your immunity, it will make your skin brighter. I'm like, magnesium does not make your skin brighter. So anyway, so that one I think is quite funny. And then I think, let me think of another one. I think there are quite a few companies in the beauty from within industry who are just looking at the list of ingredients in topical care and just putting them into vitamins. And that is ridiculous because not all things equally good when digested as opposed to topical. And I think it's funny, but it's actually misinformation for the customer. So that annoys me a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's useful to know. Well, riffing off that, are there any ingredients that shouldn't be paired together? I know you already said vitamin C and iron earlier, but are there any that shouldn't be paired in a single gummy because of maybe instability or reduced efficacy or anything like that?
If you're putting them into a singular gummy, there's quite a lot of things. So, for example, acids should never be with any mineral, really. And you should never really have vitamin C with probiotics. And that happens a lot. You see that a lot. Because of the acidity of the absorbic acid will actually kill the live probiotics. So that is another one which I would highly warn against. Conversely to that, there's some great combinations like D3 and K2 are wonderful together. Transresveratrol and NMN are great together. You get the idea. So the things I think people need to think about when they're taking any kind of supplements is what else are you consuming in the day? And I think that's really what the Nourished algorithm helps people determine. Like, it looks at what you eat in a day. It looks at your habits. It looks at your exercise. It looks at all of the different lifestyle things that you have. How much are you sleeping? Are you stressed out? Are you traveling a lot? Are you getting sick a lot? And it will determine that, based on your diet, you probably do get plenty vitamin C. You don't need to supplement with it, or you get plenty vitamin A. Taking too much vitamin A is quite dangerous. Iron as well. And that is, I think, when people go into like a supplement deep dive, they start buying everything that they see on TikTok. And then all of a sudden, with multiple products, they're actually getting too much of certain things that are dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. And yes, I mean, let's not go down the TikTok rabbit hole. The things I see trend on there always baffle me. So in a world that's obsessed with instant visible results, how do you market something that has potentially a more delayed payoff, like beauty from within?
That's a great question. I think all topical treatments, really the good ones, have a delayed benefit. I mean, wouldn't that be lovely if we bought a skincare cream that was instantly removing all of the wrinkles?
Absolutely.
I would buy that.
Doesn't mean, however, that consumers understand that or believe that themselves, because they generally sometimes think that their wrinkles will be erased in a few applications, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same for supplements. We've had reviews before. I took it for one day and I didn't feel a difference. And I'm like, okay. I always encourage people to think about it in like a more holistic way. Would you expect to go on one run and expect to be losing weight and have better cardiovascular health? I mean, wouldn't that be lovely?
That'd be great.
That would be one good night's sleep and everything else is fine. No, you need to have, unfortunately, more than one. One healthy meal is not enough, right? I try and think about it like that. But you're right. It's tricky. The best way, I think, is to have your customers talk about their experience, because people like to be part of a shared journey and they like to hear from other people who have already been on the first stage of that journey, for example. So a lot of our best marketing is coming from our own customers. We actually don't do a lot of online marketing anymore. Around 75% of our new customers come from referrals from existing customers. So that's lovely. Yes, that's so nice. Yes. And we have an 85% retention rate on our online model. So that is super high and just shows, if it's working, people like it. They like that they can change and flex the product as their life changes. So I think that's key. The other thing is, do things with credibility and talk about that credibility. I think in being an American, I've been in the UK a long time, so I have toned it down a lot. But in America, we are very, I think to a fault, a little too much in your face, braggy, this, and I did this and I did this. In the UK, we're very humble and we don't like to brag about our products or ourselves, or, both are true. And so it can feel a little bit awkward to really push all of that stuff out to the front, but you've got to. Yeah. You're asking someone to invest their time, their money, to choose you instead of something else. And you've got to give them the information to be able to feel really confident in that.
I get it. We'll have to talk about the culture shock of moving to the UK in a different podcast episode at some point. So how do you ensure that your ingredients are responsibly sourced? Because you must have a lot of different ingredients to choose from by the sounds of things, and these 150 printers that you've got whirring away in the factory.
Absolutely. So we have a full supplier audit program. So before a supplier can even be brought in as a supplier on our approved supplier list, they have to go through an on-site audit. They have to go through a huge amount of paperwork provided around all of the different certifications that they have. They have to sign declarations. And then we third-party check all of their materials for the first year. So basically, every time we have a raw material delivered into our factory, we're testing it for contaminants. We're testing it for identity, so FTIR. We're testing it for microbiological activity. And we're cross-referencing that against their COA. And if they send us product that adheres to the COA and matches for a year, then we reduce the frequency of that over time. And then we have annual audits with all of them. The majority of our products are sourced from UK businesses. That's not to say that they are all grown here, but they are sourced from UK businesses that are consolidating for us. We get, for example, our turmeric is grown in India. We have a direct relationship with that customer. We buy some of our base materials from Europe, but we don't, because we are FDA regulated, and really the way the government in the UK also regulates all food is very stringent. We have to verify everything. We also test all of our finished products, all of them, for T0. So that's T0 potency. So does it have what it says it should have? And then also end of shelf life. We have extended stability studies to back up every individual ingredient at the dose on day one and end of shelf. Yeah, it's not inexpensive or easy to do, but you need to do it if you want to be serious. And so all of those things help us to maintain our strict standards. Packaging wise, we actually source all of our packaging from a UK manufacturer, not just a consolidator. So that's very good. And all of our packaging is plastic free. So we only source, our wraps are made with wood pulp, which comes from a UK company. So this is biodegradable, home compostable, 32 weeks or less. And then all of our cardboard is recycled cardboard that is made actually in the Midlands.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly an awful lot of thought has gone into this. It really shows in every aspect of your business. I've got a few more questions for you. What do you see as the future of beauty nutrition in the next decade and beyond? Will we all be printing our own supplements at some point, do you think?
I hope that we will start to see technologies merge to be able to produce better information for consumers to be able to take action. And like our product, I hope additional types of products become available that can be truly customizable. You know, when we launched this product in 2020, I thought for sure other people would come with personalization. It is super difficult to do. So I am really proud of the team and what we've built. But really, we are still the only authentically manufactured personalized product of this kind, not just in beauty, but in supplements too. You have a lot of people taking individual pills, putting them into a sachet together, but we are really making something uniquely. And I think that that's still really rare. And I'm hopeful that will become less rare, because I think that it is a lot to ask a customer to go out to the store and buy a bunch of different elements and put them together themselves. We have to find a way of offering convenience and credibility at the same time. And so I really hope that happens. But, you know, like every day, everyone's walking around with wearables. This is amazing. This is an amazing tool. It gets better every day. This is actually the most reliable data set that we can access if we want to access a third data set. People often say, can I send you my blood work? I'm like, I don't want your blood work. It will not help me. No, not unless you took 6 tests over a period of 6 months, which no one does. And I'm like, so your one blood test will not help me. So this is very reliable though. Wouldn't it be great if we could have more tools to help us to assess our skin health? That would be like the Skin 360, but there is so much more that we can do. And I think that would be amazing if that could become really not this gamified exercise, right? Like this gamified sleep even, weirdly. What if we could gamify positive skin health? Like that would be wonderful. I would love that.
That'd be amazing. Who knows what might be possible?
Yeah.
So following on from that, I mean, we've mainly been talking about beauty from within. How do you think the personalized 3D printing process that you've created could even change the way that we think about health in the future?
So I think what we've done so far is really focus on the preventative health market. And we went into the area where we think there is the highest level of excitement, growth, and adherence potential. So that's why we chose gummy. We have already done pilots in personalized pet health. So personalized pet treat supplements. Yeah,
wow.
That's in a beta right now. So that is going really well. I hope that we can launch that soon. We've done personalized oral care, personalized protein bars. So we are working on other elements that we can use our printers for. Now, where I think about beauty, I think really what could we use 3D printers for in order to create customized, like truly customized topical treatments? I think you could do it for sure. So I think that's very exciting. And then for the wider realm of health, our technology is already being used in clinical trials to validate different dosages and scale of phases for drug discovery. And we believe that there is a place for a customized drug dispensary device in patient care providers like the NHS hospitals or in dark pharmacies to allow for pharmacists or even computers to just print the exact dosage of the medication they need to avoid having to stock, 250 different dose forms of a single medication. I think that would be amazing. And it would just in a single API add a huge amount of value and cut a lot of waste. And then there's all the other things that you could do around personalized treatments for hormone therapy, for diabetic treatments. I mean, right now, very little things are personalized. The only things that are personalized are things that are coming out of a syringe because you can easily personalize the dosage on a liquid with a syringe, but everything else is not. And so it would be wonderful if we could do that.
So hang on, just coming back to something you just said. So you think we could maybe even 3D print topical skincare in the future?
Absolutely. We could definitely do it.
Wow. That's mind blowing. Who knows where the industry will then be in 20, 30 years? And I'm sure you have the vision for it already because what you've created here, Melissa, is truly impressive. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. Where can our listeners find out more about you? Where can they come and buy your gummies?
They can find more about the company on getnourished.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Melissa Snover, and the gummies are available from us, of course, but also with Boots and Holland & Barrett nationwide.
Amazing. Are they available globally as well? Because we have listeners all over the world.
Absolutely. So our online platform is available in Japan, the United States, the EU, and the UK. And in retail, we have retail in India, Japan, and across the European zone in independent pharmacies.
Wow. Well, congratulations on all your success. And thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Have you ever tried ingestible gummies for skin and hair health? Is it something you'd even consider using? Leave us a comment on our social channels, as both the Formula Botanica team and I love hearing from you. And if you want to hear some more episodes about some of the topics we discussed today, please do go and have a look at our other content. And some great examples here on the podcast include episode 251, in which I interviewed Professor Stacey Cordery about her biography of Elizabeth Arden, who also went from kitchen formulator to global icon. Melissa is clearly a powerhouse and I believe was born to be an entrepreneur, so I really couldn't help but make the connection. Or have a listen to episode 209, in which we ask whether the world of pharmaceuticals and skincare can actually cross over whilst picking apart the term medical grade skincare. There's a wealth of information in our old episodes, and I do encourage you to go back and listen to them. Thank you for joining Melissa and I for this latest episode of Green Beauty Conversations. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave us a 5-star review so that other people can enjoy these conversations too. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and stay tuned for the next episode. Follow Formula Botanica at Formula Botanica on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. And come and give me a follow at Lorraine Dallmeier on Instagram and LinkedIn. Visit our website at formulabotanica.com and sign up for our free online formulation course today.